Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. We have the Fender Mustang Micro guitar headphone amp for you guys. So I got this at Long McQuade. Now they do charge 150 bucks for this thing, which I was kind of debating on it. I actually had to go for lunch, think about it, talk to the wife and see how crazy I am to spend that kind of money on a headphone amp, because I generally don't use them myself. But then again, there are times I've gotten up at 2, 3 in the morning, can't get back to sleep, and like to be able to play guitar, but don't want to wake anybody up upstairs, let alone waking my wife up. And I thought, maybe, we'll see, maybe it's something I could use. It does have quite a bit in it, and they do give you this little cheat card that has some color codings for up to each of the 12 amp models, as well as 12 effects, and you have a modify button where you can modify the effects with stuff like level controls, depth controls, speed, and time. But they do have quite a bit of effects in here, and every bloody one of them has reverb on there in some form or another, mixed in with other stuff. And it's like, okay, we don't need reverb on everything. There's some downsides to this in my opinion. The amps, on the other hand, we do have some nice clean amps, like a 65 Twin with compressor, 65 Deluxe, 57 Twin, British, 60s, 65 Deluxe with green box, 70s British, 90s American, Bass Breaker 15, FBE 100, Metal 2000, which I love, Uber, and Studio Preamp. Now, we're not going to go through all that because it's going to be like an hour-long video, and you guys are not going to hang out for that. So we'll go through a few of them. We'll start with actually the very first amp on the list, because like I said, the color codings are a little dumb, because an LED, even a multicolored LED, can only go to certain colors. So you do see things like some repeated greens and whatnot, and there's actually only one yellow, surprisingly enough. But and there's a color that looks brown, another color that's like a not quite a Pacific blue color, but pretty darn close to it. And it's like, LEDs don't go that color. So anyway, the unit itself, though, is this little guy here. And it's got a, of course, your level control or headphone out. You do have, of course, outputs for your headphone. In this case, I'm going direct into my reference monitor so you guys can hear this thing. It's got a USB, which is for USB-C, which is for charging, as well as you can use it to go direct to your computer with your own favorite DAW. However, you won't be using the included Type A to Type C cable to hook it up, because, yeah, it's only like not even 2 feet long, so you're going to have a long USB extension or something in order to pull that off. But you also have all your controls up here, which they will light up, of course, when you hit something. And of course, with your different selections, you do have your color changes. And the green is Metal 2000. So that's one of my favorites. Now, you do have some EQ control. There's 3 presets of EQ. They're only very subtle changes. So unless you're really listening for it, you're really not going to hear it that much. So they did kind of a poor job on EQing on that one. The modify, of course, is for modifying the effects as far as, the speed delays, depths, levels, that sort of thing. So anyway, let's just start with the Metal 2000, and we'll go through a couple amps here. Okay, that's not bad. And the next one's going to be Uber. And And next is studio preamp. Now the guitar I am using is my 2021 Headphone SG Standard. One thing that you'll find extremely common on YouTube is the majority of videos that have been done with this unit are all on Strats and Tellies. There's very few with any kind of guitar with a humbucker in it. So I thought, well, let's get more humbucker videos up there. Alright, so this should be 65 Deluxe. And it's got nice reverb, I'll give it that. Okay, what do we want next? Let's try our luck at, that's red. Green is a 57 twin. So for the clean amps, they're really nice and clean. And when I mean clean, it's like almost like a tube sound clean. So this one here is a 60s British. Now let's try some of the effects here. So our starting is just reverb, so spring reverb will be the next one. Modulated reverb. Chorus reverb. Flanger and reverb. That, of course, would probably sound a lot better with distortion. Now, of course, we can do a modify on that. But we are very limited, right? It's their presets. Let's see what else we want to try here. Let's go back. Let's go to the 2290 delay and reverb. So we need 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And yep, that should be vibratone and reverb. Red. Oh no, that was... This is why I don't like the color chart. It's screwy. We got red now, so red should be harmonic, maybe. Okay, so this is where we get a little confused. We can go all the way back. That should be our hall. That's harmonic. Let's modify that. So all we get to do is change the delay level on that. This sucks. So, okay, my opinion, although I do like the unit, it does have some definite drawbacks to it. One of which is the color coding on the chart versus what you get for color on some of these selections. Doesn't match. Like this is actually the 65 twin. So it says. That says it's a 65 deluxe. But yet this is more than likely the deluxe. Because that matches. Okay, so now we're back on track here again. This is the stupidity of Fender's color coding on their card, which is the same as the box lid. The box lid has the exact same chart in the lid, okay? But what you see on the display is not, well, it's not a display, it's just LED bulbs across each one for modify, effect, amp, and EQ. But what you see there, as long as it's a actual solid color that the LED can use, it could be that you're on the right one. But like I said, you've got doubles here. You got like at least what, 1, 2, you got 3 different greens, which could be a 57 twin, a 90s American, or it could be the Metal 2000. I mean, you should be able to distinguish the difference between them. Obviously, because the twin's going to be a really clean amp. The 90s American, not as clean. Metal 2000 is definitely some dirty, snotty stuff, right? But I think they need to do a little bit more refining on the unit as far as, you know, selections go. Like the amp switch, for example, it's got plus and minus buttons. Well, you can just keep hitting plus all you want or minus all you want. You just keep rolling through the list, right? The EQ, of course, you know, if we go and we check it, well, we can definitely go to the negative side, but then we go all the way back to a positive side. And it's pretty much the same thing. So there's the lowest EQ. basically, I'd say we've probably got 6 presets for EQ total. That's it. But they're so subtle a change, you're gonna have a hard time deciphering them. Okay, one from the other. The effects, of course, are definitely noticeable, but again, same color coding problem, same BS, right? It's going to be difficult to know which one you're actually on. Now, it does remember the last setting you used, because this is rechargeable, so it holds a memory of what you did last, right? Which, fine. I mean, if you get your favorite and you plug it back in, you're back to your favorite. The Modify, of course, has very little effect because most of it's for level control, which really doesn't do a whole heck of a lot because it's not that much of a change. The depth on the chorus, for the chorus reverb, a little bit. Flanger, a little bit. Trem speed, now that's at least noticeable on the vintage tremolo and reverb. Vibe speed is noticeable. You have speed control on the harmonic tremolo, in which case you're only going to get the trem speed, is what they give you. Delay levels, of course, and then delay and time. Delay time is going to be something on that 2290. That should be something that we should be able to pick out rather easily. We just got to make sure, okay, that's EQ. So that should be... Okay, so there's our 2290 delay and reverb. So we do have up to 6 settings under Modify. EQ is going to give us 6 as well, which is good. But, I mean, they are Fender's presets. There's no programming this thing, by the way. No way to hook it to your computer and program different things the way you want. So, in other words, you can't add a crunch or something else onto one of the preset amps. Whatever preset amps they did, whatever setups they had, levels, you name it, EQing, it's their stuff. You have no way to mess with it. So, but I mean, you're talking about a little micro amp on one side of the fence, but on the other side of the fence, yeah, that's $150. You know what kind of a regular amplifier you can buy for 150 bucks? Seriously. So you got to kind of decide on that. Okay, am I going to be happy with the tones? Well, you may be. Now you can't hook pedals to this, of course. Keep that in mind, right? Now, as far as the rest of the unit goes, I want to show you. Okay, so level output. That's like half. Let me just get this thing back to normal. Except... Okay, now there's full. There's the 9 o'clock position. Now I have my speakers turned up about 3/4 of the way up. And there's half there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, here's some things that I kind of like here. Headphone output. I've got a really long cable on this thing that's 1/8 inch. It's actually, this part is actually the extension going to an 1/8 to 1/8 into the back of my reference monitors. Okay, but otherwise you can buy a really super long 1/8 inch stereo to 1/8 inch stereo cable, like 30 feet, 50 feet, right? And that would be kind of cool in the sense of doing this, for example. But if you like these sounds, this is an entire amplifier with a pile of effects in one. It's a full modeling amp in one palm of your hand. It's like not even the size of half a pack of cigarettes. It's that small, right? It's got some rubber cushy things here, I guess for anti-slip when it's resting on a table. The jack will fit a multitude of different guitars, no problem, including, yes, Fender thought about it because it's their product. Yes, this will easily go into a Stratocaster boat jack. Goes into the Tellys, goes into, you know, any of my Les Pauls, my SGs. There will be some guitars this won't work in, like if you look at Ibanez guitars where they don't put a boat type jack plate in like Fender does and other companies. They just kind of drill that hole on an angle and it's just barely big enough for a, you know, very narrow headed amp cord plug-in, right? And most of the wireless stuff out there ain't going to work unless it's a professional wireless system where it's got a cable going to a body pack. So my Sennheiser set, of course, this unit will not work on an Ibanez. It's not going to happen. Unless you have adapters that will work, right? So that kind of makes it a real pain in the butt. The unit itself, though, I mean, it takes a little bit to charge. Probably took about 2 hours to charge it right from brand new, which is not bad. You get about 6 hours, up to 6 hours of playtime. Of course, that depends on how much you turn that level control up for loudness, because that's going to affect, because the more of the amplifier circuit you use, the more it's going to use the battery up. So I would count on anywhere between 5, maybe 5.5 hours is about probably a good average for that. But it is basically replacing the Fender Mustang 1s, right? And the Fender Mustang 2, same bloody amp, except, you know, bigger speaker. We found that out because I've recently done the Fender Mustang 2. You know, it's kind of, I like it, but I don't like some of the restrictions, right? And I really cannot stand their color chart. It makes it a pain. So you really have to ignore the color chart, at least, you know, for the amps especially, because you're going to pick out whatever amp tone you want, whether it's a clean one or a really super sick dirty one. You know, the effects thing, well, you can pretty much guess. And when you have all white lights, at least, where they're white, because there is a bit of a discrepancy here, because the 2290 delay reverb, for example, looks kind of like a bluish color, but it doesn't show that bluish kind of tinge on the light. It shows it as being white, so you actually have to do a double back off to get back to the hall reverb, right? But you'll know because of the delay on the 2290 is quite there, so where there's absolutely no delay on the regular hall. So from there you can kind of play the guessing game. Like I said, the amps and the effects just keep rotating. You do have 6 different EQs, 6 different modifies that we can use. So I mean, there is quite a bit packaged in here, so there's a lot of good points, don't get me wrong. But I still have to call it how it is. Now, is it actually worth $150 for what's packed into your little hand here? Well, I've played on cheaper ones and didn't really care much for them, to be honest. I even had one that was sent to me for free years back. It's probably still on my channel. You know, that thing was like 20 bucks. So the deal here is this is one of those cases where you are definitely going to kind of get what you pay for. So if you want the better stuff, then yeah, this could be worth $150. Now, some YouTube channel, and I haven't watched it yet, they compared this against a Nux version. I've yet to check that video out because I'd be interested in seeing what the Nux one is like, not only for features but for price. But as far as what I'm going to tell you today, as far as everything goes with this, I'm going to say in general, yes, I do think it's a really good product. Okay, the LED thing kind of will drive you a little nuts because, like I said, an LED bulb can only produce X amount of colors, and that's about it. So yeah, they should have just kept with the whole solid thing, and you know, or found another way around this would be better. Either way, it does fit most guitars, which is kind of handy. That I like about it as well. Also has Bluetooth, by the way. So when you turn the power to straight on, Bluetooth will not be active. You actually have to pull down and hold for a few seconds for the Bluetooth to start, you know, binding out, and then you can connect it to your phone or your tablet and play music through that way. And then this way you can jam along with your tracks in your head. So 3 o'clock in the morning, we're all good. Put a set of really good quality earbuds or really good quality headphones on your head, and this little puppy, and 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to bug anybody, and you can jam out, rock out, do whatever you want. If you have a long enough USB cable at the same time, you can go into your DAW and record your, even your YouTube stuff at night that you want to do to use with this for whatever music purposes, right? Whatever you want to do. I mean, it's a very flexible unit. I like all the features that it has. So, just a few of them that are annoying, like the LED thing. So, in all, I would definitely rank this thing as I'm going to say 4. Because like I said, I do have a valid complaint about the LED system, how it's working. The changes in the EQ are way too subtle of changes, but at least they're kind of there. You can kind of hear them, right? So I guess there's some goodness there. But otherwise, as far as the price goes, though, at 150 bucks, that's got to come down. I think this unit should be more around $100. I think would be more than fair, is what this unit should be selling for. It's worth $100, right? Because I mean, for $100 you can get a lot of a regular amp too, and just plug headphones in and accomplish the same task as far as being stuck at home. But this has the extra bonus that you can go anywhere. Almost 6 hours of runtime. Take this, your guitar, your earbuds, or maybe even a pair of amplified battery-powered speakers with you, okay? And voila, go to the beach, go to the park, go here, go there. No hydro required for at least 6 hours. So there is that benefit on this over standard amplifiers, okay? Because we're not going to talk about battery-powered amps because that doesn't count. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it is a really neat unit. I really think it's cool. I don't know how much use I will personally get out of this thing. Only time will tell. So maybe in a year from now, maybe we can, revisit this, and I'll let you know if it just sat and collected dust or if I actually got some usage out of it that was even practical. I'm also going to try recording with this thing too and see what the recording output is like via the USB-C. See how well that works. Okay, but that'll be something I'm going to have to find a really long USB-C cable first. That or a USB extension, and use the included cable. Because the included cable for this is like this long. It's not very long, right? So anyways, but an up close look at this thing. I'll just turn the power on too so you can see the little lights all lit up. And we got a green one here, which is one of my amps. So there's the up close here. There's what the unit looks like. That's our volume control, power on and off. And of course we do have USB-C and headphone. So that's it. That's all there is to it. So anyways, guys, thank you for hanging out for 30 minutes. I know it was pretty hard, but hey, hopefully you got a lot out of this. And we'll definitely catch you guys in the next video, okay? See ya.